Sometimes people don't realize that love is like a video game. There are challenges, you can level up, and you can make a nice coat out of wolf pelts.
Welcome one and all to Cosmic DJ. I am your host, SocioPsycho, and this is Mob Reviews, and today we will find out if this is actually decent enough to pick up and spend your time in. It was created by Gleek, available for PC and Mac. Now it's an interesting little title as there's not much in the options menu. It has a load up options where you can change the key input if you wish it, and you can also change the graphic settings. Graphically, the game is very basic and you don't expect much. It has a very cartoonish look to it. It's part of its charm. It goes to the bizarre, and that's perfectly fine by me. Been running smoothly with no clipping, crashing, or tearing. Have had no performance issues whatsoever. And it has been running at 60 frames per second, though that hardly matters in a game like this. So when we jump in here, we'll see that there's not actually that much in the levels that you have available to you. It's a pretty small game. You have the first, which is sort of a tutorial block mission, and then you have 4 of your standard missions, which is jam out and save the universe to your jamming. Then it comes up to an epic conclusion of jamming out and rocking the music to save and finalize saving of the universe. So there's 5 missions in all. It's pretty fast paced. The charm of it is supposed to come from the fact that you're supposed to be able to build your music. The story is irrelevant. The story just ties it together and be like, wow, that was weird, or that was kooky, or that was funny, or ha ha ha. The meat of it is where you build the music to a synchronization, and different levels do have a different layout of instruments that you can use. Now, as you can see here, we have these 5 abilities, and when we click on one, we have a choice to ignore it or synchronize with it, and they each do a different sound. The slight annoyance is the fact that when you do click on these different sounds, you're not sure what you're going to get until you click on it. The different levels, they are different. Now you have a choice between using a mouse or being more high paced and using your keyboard, which is just an easier way to, obviously synchronize the music a bit better. And you'll get only a certain amount of skill point strength to tie the music together for one instrument, so you need to synchronize the different instruments sort of together. Now, there really is no failure state. You can't fail in creating the music, or you can't fail in how you survive the music. It really just comes down to trying to make a jam that sounds decent in comparison to the other beats that you're putting down. As you can see, the timeline that is pretty simplistic of when your different beats are activating, so you can try to sync up a sound that you want to harmonize or better group up the music that you were hoping for. Once you get past the line in the sync bar, you have the availability to move onwards, or you can try to jam out and get full, which really doesn't do anything special difference. There's not a score point system or anything else, and you are limited to the bass beat line that they pick for you and the sounds that you do pick. The main thing that might be a deterrent or sort of a off-put is the fact that you don't have a choice to decide which mainstream beat you want, which does tie into the story aspect, I guess, but it would have been nice if it had sort of a free mode where you could choose between one of the baseline beats and have more option to choose in between what instruments you took in, so you could really make something that you'd enjoy more. Maybe you want more vocal or harmonic, or maybe bass or guitar or some variation or whatnot. The game does have different variety and a large variety of choices when it comes down to the different levels, but there's no point to where you can throw all those together into trying to make something unique or something that would be of interest to yourself. And this does come down to an unfortunate side, because at the end of each mission you have the availability to export your song file and sort of create your own music. So it does come down to how well you've managed to create music, or how well you're musically inclined, as to what and how well your music is going to sound. Grid mode is pretty much the same as tap mode. It just gives a better in-depth view of how you want to put your music together on a in-depth scale, where on tap mode it's kind of just more like mash your face onto the keyboard, where grid would offer a little bit more of a personalization, and you can kind of get a feel of exactly where you want to put your abilities. It has some nice customization aspects into the game, but I feel that it just misses the mark in allowing the player to actually create, or have the freedom to create, something that would be truly unique to the player. It has all the mechanics it needs to allow it, it just doesn't allow it, which is unfortunate. The music during the different missions as well does change up enough to where you don't feel as if you're hearing the same song over and over again. There is a variety, like I said. Now, during the creational album aspect of a song, after you've done playing the mission and you combine all the tempos of a song, kind of tries to put it all together and synchronizes it together, and it has this album cover art which will pop up if you play it on Windows Media Player or some other such. And the nice thing about this is the fact that the developer says that you can use the music that you create however you want. There is no limitation. You can do whatever you want with the music that you manage to create using the tools in the game. You don't have to worry about any royalties or copyright, and that's really nice to see, that the developer creates a music game and then says, here are the tools for enjoyment, use it however you want to use it. So at the end of the day, the price point of a game is like $3. I can easily recommend it. I mean, it's a really short game, and if you're into sort of upbeat techno mix style music, then you'll enjoy it. And if you like music games or DJ mixture style games, even though it is very limited in its in-depth playability of how you interact or build tracks, it does have a goofy aspect to it, to where it can tell you enough to play, but you can't go in expecting some sort of epic or grandeur of a game, because it is very simplistic. It's basically, you get in, you play a little bit, you try to make a track you like, and then you're done. Obviously, the more you play will depend on the more love you have for the game. But the important thing to note is that I never felt like my time was wasted, or that I wasn't being good enough. There is no point system in the game. There's really no purpose or achievement high area, and that can be fine because it's going more of a creational aspect rather than a competitional aspect, but that might be something that deters some people. But I can recommend it, but you definitely have to enjoy techno style music and understand that the game is pretty small and will be passed over very fast. Thank you everybody for listening and watching. I've been SocioPsycho, and I'll see you next time.